Okay, bro, me some. One is enough for two, right? Sure. Continue on. That's all you got.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ما بعد. So tonight we're starting Bab al-Sadaq, which is the chapter on the dowry or the mahar. The mahar or the dowry or the wedding gift for the bride. The wedding gift for the bride. Inshallah. طيب. This might have to be broken down into two classes, possibly, maybe. It's kind of long a little bit. طيب قال رحمه الله باب الصداق يسن تسميته في العقد وتخفيفه. There's two things that he says yusan. Sunnah is sunnah. Two things that are sunnah when it comes to the dowry. If it's sunnah, that means what? That's the translation of sunnah. We want the translation of sunnah. Sunnah has a meaning.
It's a command, but you're not sinful if you don't do it.
It's a command, but you're not sinful if you don't do it.
Isn't it like a reward in it for doing it, but there's no punishment for that?
Jade, it's a reward in doing it, right? But if you don't do it, there's no punishment connected to it, right? So it is a command, but it's not as we say, a command, a 100% command. Let's say it's like an 80% command. Therefore, there's room not to do it. Not mean you shouldn't do something that's sunnah, meaning that if you didn't do something that was mustahab or sunnah, in this case, is not punishable. It's not a sin. طيب. So it's two things that are sunnah, which is translated here as recommended, right? And if we say it another way, you should do these things, right? You should do it, but if you don't do it, then what? It's no punishment. It's no problem. You just missed the reward. You missed the ajr. You missed the reward connected to it. طيب. The first thing he says, tasmiyatuhu fil aqd. The first thing it's recommended to do is mention what you've given a sister in the actual aqd, at the contract, right? At the actual marriage contract, to mention what the dowry was, or what the dowry is. What?
I don't want to cut you off.
Yeah, it's fine, Sheikh.
Now, the only thing is, let's just say, for instance, the thing that always happened to me. It's like, my sister say, whatever you want to give me, I'm going to accept.
We ain't get there yet.
All right.
We're going to get there.
I ain't going to cut you off.
To mention it, assuming she knows what she wants, and assuming that, to mention it at the aqd nikah, when everybody's witnessing and everybody's standing there watching, the witnesses are there and the wali, it was going down, mention it. If you don't mention it, then what? Huh? He said, sunnah to mention whatever the dowry is at the aqd nikah. Everybody's there. The aqd is on Friday after Jummah. All the witnesses are there. The wali is there. The sisters, everybody's there. Everybody came down. We ready, alhamdulillah. Now it's going to be a what? The wali is going to do what? He's going to offer her in marriage, and the man is going to accept. At that point, they say it's recommended to mention what the dowry was at that point. I marry you to such and such, and this is her dowry. Whatever it is. And he says, I accept the marriage and I accept to pay that dowry, give the dowry, whatever it is. He says it's recommended to do that. That's the first thing that's recommended to do. To do what? Name exactly what it is that she's getting, that you're giving her. طيب. If he didn't do that, then what? Huh? غير صحيح. طيب. He said if you didn't do it, then the contract is not valid. Huh? You don't have a witness. Tell you.
I think it would be foggy later on about what is the situation. It's mustahab.
It's recommended. It don't have to be mentioned. That's the point of it being sunnah. If it's recommended, it's something recommended, it doesn't have to be mentioned. But they saying is what is better to mention it. It's better to mention it. It's better to mention it. Tell you. If he didn't mention it, it doesn't affect the contract. Tell you. Do people usually mention at the marriage contract? Do they usually say what it is? Right? You never really hear it. Right? So if we say that because you didn't mention it, the contract is not valid, I mean, all the people that got married, we didn't hear it, right? So that's not the case. They just saying it's better. That's the first thing to mention. The second thing, وَتَخْفِيفُهُ. It's also recommended to make the dowry something light, not too heavy. Meaning, what's two different words for that we could use? Yeah, not too expensive. To make it light. They say is what? Recommended. That means she don't have to make it light. Right? She don't have to. They said it's recommended that she makes it light. Like that the dowry is light, something not too expensive. Clear? Both of those are recommended to do. Meaning if somebody did the other one, the opposite, it wouldn't affect the contract. Tayyib, it wouldn't affect the contract. Clear? Tayyib. وَكُلُّ مَا صَحَّ ثَمَنًا أَوْ أُجْرَةً صَحَّ مَهْرًا. Tayyib. Now the next thing is what can be given as a dowry? It says everything that's permissible basically to sell or to rent is permissible to give as a dowry. Anything that's permissible in Islam to sell or to rent out is permissible to give as a dowry. That's the rule first. I want y'all to get the rule first. Anything that's permissible to sell or in Islam, Islamically, it's permissible to sell that Islamically. It's not haram for a Muslim to sell that. It's not haram for a Muslim to rent that. If it's who?
A slave if he was in them sounds.
Yeah. If it was permissible, I mean, not if that was the case. In our time, you apply it to whatever is permissible to sell. What is it not permissible to sell as a Muslim? Huh? Something stolen. What else?
Something that belongs to someone else.
That's stolen, right?
Something that belongs to someone else.
What'd you say?
Anything around like
Stolen.
alcohol or whatever.
Not necessarily.
What? Oh, la yamli.
Somebody, you be a man like
Sorry.
Okay.
Thought you was joking. Something that you don't own. It's not your. You didn't steal it because he said stolen. If it's stolen, it's not permissible to sell that because it's not yours. But say if you didn't steal it, you just holding somebody's stuff.
Right. And you sell their stuff.
And you sell their stuff. It's not permissible to sell their stuff. Tell you what else specifically? Something specific that it's not permissible to sell as a Muslim. Alcohol. Somebody tries to give a woman alcohol for a dowry. Mumkin? Huh? Is that possible? That? Y'all crazy, tripping. Is it possible, sisters? Huh? Not possible? Huh? How? When would it be possible? Give me an example.
Somebody that's not Muslim in your family and don't know.
The husband gives a woman a bottle of whatever it is for a dowry. Is it possible? No, alcohol. Because if it's not alcohol, it's permissible. Huh? A new Muslim don't know no better. They get married. He marries a woman. He gives her a bottle along with some others. You know what I'm saying? He gives her a bottle for an expensive bottle of champagne or whatever it is for a dowry gift. He don't know. He's a new Muslim. Mumkin? Is that possible? It's possible. If it happened, we're not saying it's cool to do. If that did happen, because it ain't like it's nobody's never going to do that. No, people take shahada every day. People don't learn things for years at a time, right? He gets married. He gives her a bottle of whatever it is for a dowry. That means that dowry is not valid. But what about the marriage contract? Are they married? Huh? They still married? They married. No, ain't about her accepting it. The dowry doesn't affect the actual contract. Even if the dowry is, as they say, it doesn't count. Let's just say it's invalid. That dowry of liquor, alcohol does not count as a wedding gift to a bride. The contract, they are married, but he still what? He still owes her a dowry. It don't just drop off because you messed up. Oh, I ain't know I couldn't get that for a dowry. Okay, well, now you know you got to give her something else. Now, what has to be given? We'll get there, inshallah. So everything that can be sold is permissible to sell and rent in Islam. It's permissible to give as a dowry. Clear? طيب. فإن لم يسمي أو بطلت التسمية وجب مهر مثل بعقد. If, let's say, for example, they get married, and sisters, I need some help on this because I'm just asking the question. Say, for example, they get married. Never mind, I'm gonna leave that alone. Never mind. They get married, and the sister requests for a dowry or ring, right? We know right now from what we did so far, it's sunnah to do what? It's sunnah that the ring shouldn't be too expensive. Let's just, all right, right? And what else? That you should mention that it's a ring. The ring is a dowry at the aqd. So far, right? That's what she wanted, a ring, right? That was a dowry. Like, is it permissible to sell rings? All right, so there's no problem with the dowry. Let's say, for example, lam yusammi, that the dowry was never mentioned. We don't know what the dowry is. It was never mentioned between the man and the woman getting married. All right? It was never mentioned. They go ahead and get married. Because they got married and they didn't discuss and the dowry wasn't mentioned specifically, does that mean he doesn't owe her a dowry? No, he still owes that. What does he owe her, though? Because she never mentioned nothing. They never spoke about it. They got married, alhamdulillah, the wali, the witnesses all there, but they didn't give, they never discussed it. Was never named specifically what she wanted for a dowry. So what's supposed to happen? They negotiate? Oh, yeah. What's the negotiation?
Like what you want. She told me what she wanted.
Anybody else?
Huh? I don't even know.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Mm-hmm. Don't tell them now. Huh? The sisters don't know this? I thought somebody would have said something. Since you get married, y'all forgot to discuss the dowry. What's supposed to happen? You gonna tell them what you want? Like, how that work? Huh?
He got to offer something, right?
No, not necessarily. Remember, they never discussed it. The first example, she said she wanted a ring. Alhamdulillah, the ring ain't too expensive, right? They mentioned it at the aqd. They doing everything that is recommended to do. But the next situation, they got married. They never mentioned the dowry at the contract. They never even spoke about it at all, the man and the woman. They get married because the dowry doesn't affect the actual contract. It's not going to invalidate their marriage. But now, after the marriage, they married, they home. She says, "Subhanallah, we never spoke about my dowry." Dowry. Mahar, they call it mahar, right? Or the wedding gift, huh?
That's the same thing. A mar and dowry.
Yeah, mahar dowry is the same. Mahar dowry wedding gift for the woman. What's she supposed to do? They say that she's entitled to. This is important. What she deserves, the fact that they didn't discuss anything, she deserves to receive a gift to a woman, what the woman on her level generally receive as wedding gifts. She don't have the option to go back now and say, I want something and like go extra. No, now you get something that's normal for a person in your class level, society-wise. You understand what I'm saying? People, we have classes, right? Some people are a little higher class as far as income. Talking about money-wise, like, right? Nah, it's general. It's a general class that people are in, right? The people that are general, they say, well, how do you get that? What is that based on? We're going to get there. We're gonna get there. What is it based on? What's mithla? What does somebody like her deserve? Her level, right, in society deserve? Number one, they look at, which for a lot of us, we don't have this luxury, but they look at, number one, her family members, the women in her family first. When they were married, what did they receive? And if that's not the case, then the people in the society that's on her level. But that's gonna come up again. So that's number one. Number one, the problem was they didn't mention. They never spoke about it. It was never mentioned what the dowry was going to be like. The first one was a ring. Or number two, the same thing is going to apply if he gave her something that was haram to give her. Like what? The alcohol. He gave her haram to alcohol, right? They get married on that. Then they turn around and find out, oh, that didn't count. Yeah, that didn't count. So that means he still owes her a mahar, right? What's the mahar going to be? The same thing. Look at the women at her level in society. What do they usually receive as wedding gifts? I'm using numbers, I'm throwing out numbers. They usually receive something between $1,000 and $2,000, right? Then that's what she deserves, and that's what's owed by the man. It's not an option, y'all. For the brothers, the mahar, the dowry this not like optional. Like if I'm really feeling her, I'm gonna give it to her. But if I'm married and I ain't really feeling her, she got to chalk it. No, it don't drop off like that. What you mean? Does a man offer a dowry? He can. If she do men, is that what, I don't know what people do. Does a man have to offer? How does that work? How do we do it? I'm just asking a question now. It's a question.
You make it known what you can afford.
To the woman?
Yeah.
Okay.
From the popular hadith, where the woman asked the man, what can you afford?
Mm-hmm.
So
when the what?
Like when the woman, when it was asked to the man, what can you afford?
The woman asked the man, what could you afford?
Well, no, it was the Prophet itself.
Mm-hmm.
The Prophet itself asked the man, what can you afford?
Okay.
So it's like, I'm asking you, is that, like what the man can afford, instead of say, I'm going to give you this.
Right. Two questions. Number one, can the man offer a dowry?
Yeah.
That's one thing. He can offer what he wants to offer. Once he offers, does she have to accept what he offers?
No.
Can she turn around and request what she wants? Right? When she requests something, does he have to give her that? Huh? If he wants to marry her, he got to give it to her. That's a negotiation problem. He might say, man, I ain't, he don't have to give it to her. They're not married yet. We talking about before they marry. Because after they marry, she's going to be stuck, not stuck, but after they're married, and if they didn't discuss it, she's going to be between that 1,000 and 2,000 range. So let's say before the marriage, she wants something, she wants 5,000. Something's $5,000. He offers her something, let's say, he offers her something worth $1,000. That's what he offers her. She don't have to accept that. She says no, and she responds, she says, no, I want this, and it's worth 5,000. Right? Do he have to accept that? Oh, it's a negotiation. Once you accept that and you lock in, that's a different story.
So what happens, like you said, if they forget to mention it at the nikah, but they get home, say they getting upstairs or whatever, then she be like, oh, we gotta talk about this dowry.
Hold up, man.
No, I'm saying, like, what if he reject? What if she like, I need 5,000? He like, oh, like,
no. This is after the marriage. You gotta apply the rule. The rule applies. What's the rule? The level, the class level. She has to be. She's in that range now because they didn't discuss it ahead of time.
No, the only reason I'm asking this is because being intimate is a part of like concealing the marriage, if you want to say whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Say if they didn't get to that, but they, headed that way, and then that is mentioned, can she say?
Oh, we're gonna get there. That's coming, inshallah. I know.
Yeah. So
I'm sorry.
So what? Like, okay. So what is the Mars? What is symbolizing? Like, what is it paying for? What is it doing?
What is it paying for? The marriage contract. The man benefits from the marriage contract. The fact that he's able to be intimate with his wife. That's what the contract. That's what he benefits ultimately. She's always available for him. Always. Except when she's on her menses and when she's right. The woman benefits what she benefits for, right? He's paying for what? What is the man Access to his wife. Intimacy. Private intimacy where he can see her unclothed like nobody else can see her. That's what the man, that's part of the woman's maintenance is connected to. He has access to her. That's why there's a chapter, sisters, brothers, there's a chapter about the nushuz, which is usually translated, I don't know how it's translated there, the disobedient wife. What makes a man, what Islamically gives a man the go-ahead, the green light, not to spend on his wife? There are things that give him the green head. Other than that, the man has access to his wife. He can be intimate with her. She's available for him. You taking care of her. Clear? And part of the dowry is only the dowry. The wedding gift is that taking care of the first night of intimacy. That's it. That's why it's never brought up again. If it's done at the op. Now, if they delay it or something else, then it's going to come up again because you still owe that, like we say, you owe that note. If you say, I'm going to give it to you in 6 months, and 6 months up, she wants that, it's owed. It's a debt. It's not something that drops off because, you know, alhamdulillah, the marriage is going good. Won't have no problems. He's a great brother. You're a great sister. And then, nah, she's going to want that. And she's owed that. Everybody clear? So the dowry is only for what? That first night. After that, the maintenance is going to continue. As we say, the maintenance. We got to get the maintenance too. Yes.
What about if they say they just want to teach a deen?
If they say they're going to teach her deen for the dowry, it depends on what they mean by deen. It depends, Sheikh. It depends. That's all I can say. Yes.
If I say something, marry or allow a person to marry a sister because of the amount of Quran that he knows?
Yeah, that's the hadith. Now, does that y'all remember, a man could offer whatever he want to offer. Y'all not married. There's no pressure on nobody. Everybody's throwing out things that they want to benefit from. What's the benefit? I'm just saying, for example, if I'm able to teach the woman Quran, the man, that means he doesn't have to do what for a dowry? Spend money. It's a benefit for the man, right? She might want that benefit and she might not. Like she might already know Quran. She might know more Quran than you. And your Quran chopped up. She good. So she like, no, I don't. But you say, yeah, but the hadith says, okay, I'm not negating the hadith. But you can't make that I have to accept what's in the hadith. You understand what I'm saying?
Listen, in a case like that,
Which one?
About teaching her deen and all of that,
Yeah.
you gotta put a monetary value on that.
Or how much it would be.
Exactly.
How much it would be worth.
The reason for that is if she wants a khula, and she gotta pay, like how much you gotta pay. You understand? So there has to be a monetary value attached to the learning.
Lord, a monetary. Everybody hear that? Of course not. How much would, if you teaching a person, right, for a dowry? And this is important because when it comes to separation, these things, the dowry comes back up. When it comes to separation, the dowry, I'm not going to say the only time, but the dowry is going to come back up in the event of a divorce, khula, something like that. So if he teaches her something, how much is that teaching worth in monetary value? Let's say he teaches 6 surahs. We do know when you divorce or if she wants a khula, the dowry has to go back, right? She wants out of the marriage. How's she going to give back 6 surahs? How's she going to get back a juz of Quran that he taught her? Clear? So how much monetary value, time, effort put in would a person be paying money to teach them whatever it is they teaching them? Clear? What's going to come up in the bab of the khula?
I thought that was an obligation.
Which one?
Say give her something tangible.
Mm-hmm.
When she returns, when she has to return it as if she wants to call up, she has to return and put it back in his hand.
Mm.
So the dowry would have to be something tangible.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
But if it's tangible, then that applies. If it's tangible, then that applies, right? Because it could be something that's a benefit, right? If it's tangible, then yes, you have to give it back. Clear? What if it's not tangible?
What?
The dowry. You understand what I'm saying? If it's not tangible, how do you give it back? That's the point. But when it is tangible, for example, a ring, all right, you got money, it was this amount, they got to go back. You understand? It's tangible. Yes.
No, so this would be like a short condition of the price that you're putting on what you're teaching. So would that be like a shart?
No, I'm not gonna say it's a shart.
Okay, one more thing.
Okay.
And also, if the dowry cannot be given back, would that invalidate the khula?
Allah, we ain't get there yet. That's in the Bab of the Khula.
Did you pay for time?
Yeah.
That's something tangible because teaching, she has to pay for something, right? Because it's going back. So that's how you value it by the time, because you can't get Quran.
Tell you.
So in a case like that we just mentioned, just like say for example, the sister wants to get married and she says, I want my dowry to be an Umrah trip or a Hajj, right? That's where the monetary value comes in. Whatever the price is, we covered this before. Whatever the price is for that trip, that's what you have to pay back.
Right.
Same thing for if he was going to educate her. Let's say, for example, he's going to teach her intricate levels of the deen. So in that case, he has to look, okay, what school's teaching that and how much do they charge to finish what I'm going to be teaching her? That's going to be the monetary value. So then in the case she wants a khula, she's going to have to pay back that portion of money that would have been spent to get that level of education.
That makes sense.
This is why if a woman wants a khula, there'll always have to be a monetary value attached to it. It can't be ambiguous. Because if it's ambiguous, then you're going to run into problems.
How they going to get it back?
Exactly.
And that's going to come to Bab al-Khula. How you going to get back something if it was no monetary value attached to it? That makes sense? You with me?
Yeah, see, of course, that was always understood that if you was going to be a husband anyway, you would have to. That's your obligation to educate your family. Without that having to be a dowry. To educate your wife is already in place at the time of the marriage. That you want, the obligation to educate your family.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it could be the both, like the obligation to educate your family, and then that same thing being accepted as a dowry. You see what I'm saying? She would get that anyway. She would get that anyway.
She would get it anyway. No, she might not get it. Say, for example, the brother knows, for example, he knows the Arabic language in and out. She doesn't want to learn. That's not what she wants. She wants to learn Quran. It's not the same. She wants to learn Hadith. He going to teach her the Arabic language. That's what he know anyway as his wife. She's going to get that. That's what you're saying. She's going to get that part. She's going to get Aqidah, but she wants this specifically. That's what she's requesting. You understand what I'm saying? And Allah knows best. He says at the end, in those two cases, when she gets what is in her class level, he says, wajaba. If something is wajib, it's obligatory that he gives her, meaning the first thing, the situation was that the dowry was never mentioned, right? They get married, so that means she's owed something. The example we use between $1 and $2 grand. Cool. That's just the example. Cool. Or he gave her something that was haram to sell as a Muslim. He gave her a bottle of champagne for a dowry. That doesn't count. That means he still owes her, right? It says wajaba mahr mithli bi'aqd. That it's obligatory that he gives her between that 1 and 2,000. That's not an option. He can't just lowball her and give her, right, $500. He got to give her obligatory. That's what she's entitled to. طيب. He says, وَيَصِحُّ تَأْجِيلُهُ. It is also valid if the dowry is delayed. It's no problem to delay the dowry, right? So, for example, they agree that in 6 months, he's going to pay her the dowry. She wants a $2,000 ring, or she just wants $2,000 or $5,000, whatever they agree to. She says, what do you want from dowry? She says $5,000. Cool. He says, all right, I'll give you that. I can have that for you in 6 months. Cool. They get married. No problem. In 6 months, she's due her what? She is owed that. That's not that. You understand? Everybody clear? So it's no problem to delay it, even though they said it's better to do what? Up front what? Mention it. Mention it up front. So they're saying, even if you didn't mention it up front, it's no problem. Even if you delayed it, it's no problem. But it's better to mention it up front, right? طيب وإن أطلق الأجل فمحله الفرقة. طيب, what if they say, we just said, she said in 6 months, I'll give you the 5,000, right? But what if they don't put a time on it? The time, she says, what? The dowry is 5,000, but I don't have it right now, but I'm gonna give it to you. She says, all right, alhamdulillah. They get married. They didn't say 6 months. They never said a year. They never agreed on a specific time, right? When is that dowry, that mahar due? When does she do that money, her wedding gift? Anybody? Huh? As soon as he gets it? At the least, it has to be paid when? They delayed it already. Upon separation. Say they was married 5 years and he never gave her the $5,000. Right? He still owes that 5,000. That's a debt that he owes to his wife. He still owes her that. Huh? What you mean? No, it's not necessarily. It don't necessarily mean a khula. Maybe he divorced her. Right? She don't have to give it back if he divorces her. Right? So now, upon separation, you still owe that 5,000. It ain't that, Mel, he never gave you my dowry. Well, we divorced now. That's what brothers think. Well, we divorced now. Like, since you divorced, you don't think you owe her the dowry? You divorced her. You owed her the dowry a year ago. Or y'all never agreed on nothing. Y'all never agreed. I never said it was going to be a year. Yeah, we never said it was going to be a cool. At the least, when y'all separated, it's still owed to her. Clear? طيب. He says, وَتَمْلِيكُهُ بِعَقْدٍ. طيب. If the dowry is given, let's say up front, or let's say it's known what it is. It's known what it is, and it's something that, let's just say he gave her a property, right? Brother has some extra property, so I'll just give you this property, it's yours. She owns it. When does she own the property? When does she officially own it? When is it officially hers? Huh? Once they consummate? Once they get married or once they consummate? Which one? Because this was connected to it. Say he gives her a property, it's people living in there, right? They renting it out. It's money, like it's property generating money. He says, you know what? She wanted this your dowry. You can have that that's yours. When does she own it? Because when does she own it? It means all that money coming in goes to her. He said, when it's signed over to her. Right? He says, He said when they consummate, he says when they get married. She owns it at the marriage. Once they make the marriage contract, that's hers now. That was the dowry, she owns it. So now, the money coming in is what? She responsible for it. Floods and all that, right? All that's hers. It's hers. It's her building, whatever the building is. It could be a house, building, whatever it is. She owns it at the contract. Once the contract is official. Clear? Because if you say once you consummate, they might not consummate for 2 months. Say they get married and he on the road. Right? He might not come back for a month and a half.
He's not responsible for maintaining.
Maintaining what? That's hers. What house? No, that's hers. That's like saying, and this is an important point. I think it was Sheikh Nizar told us. When it comes to marriage and all of these ahkam, do not live life like this, y'all. Picking each other apart in the house and all that. That's not how you live a marriage. Well, the brother said on the third, he said in chapter 3, look at chapter 3. I don't have to do that. You ain't gonna be married long. This stuff is when, as he said, when it's a nizat, when it's an argument, when something comes up and we need to get to the bottom of something, all right, well, listen, in reality, that's not really your right. So just relax. It could be that was extra he was doing. Listen, she doesn't have to do that. Like, she's doing it. She stopped doing it. It's not that big a deal. Don't lose the marriage over that. You're not in the house picking through the book and going back and folding pages and highlighting and stuff. Y'all arguing back and forth all day through text messages because over these intricate details. He said, it's not how you carry on and be married. And if you do that, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem, as we say. We don't want to nitpick each other to death, right? But if something comes up, then Islam has rules. And a lot of times we need to know these rules. So when we go into a marriage, we're a little more clear. Okay, that was extra. She didn't really have to do that. Or he was doing that, but he didn't really have to do it. So let me just pump my brakes a little bit. Tell you further.
After that?
Yeah. It's right now?
I don't know.
Go ahead, further.
All right. So let's just say, for instance, you married a sister that already got children that's not by you. Right? Mm-hmm. So can she include her, or is any of that you marrying her, or you marrying her children, or what's really going on? I'm talking about Islam.
If you marry a woman with children, or a woman marries a man with children, number one, we got to be realistic and mature, for real. You marry somebody, we got this idea that if you marry me, it's a package deal. That's the John. They come with me, all right, cool. But you got to understand what's really on the other person. What are you really entitled to? What is a person Islamically entitled to? Because the problem is, a lot of times we try to include our kids with our new spouse, right? As if it's their responsibility. So if a man has children, those children, he's the father and they have a mother. If she has children, she's the mother and they have a father. And Islamically, it's a way to deal with all that. You want to get to the nitty gritty, or you want to just live life and be happy? Because if you want to get nitty gritty, they're not my responsibility. If you want to get all the way down, like we want to get all the way down, they should be living with their father. You want to get all the way down? This is now we're going to get into what? That's petty. That's going to be the next thing. We don't want to go down that road, right? We don't want to go down that road because that's only going to lead to more arguing and bickering. And that's our reality. And most of us, we get married, we got kids, and she got kids already. That we can't even make that. That can't even be like a discussion. It's going to be a problem. Everybody's sensitive about their kids. Everybody. I don't care what she said to sit down. Okay, what he said to sit down. Everybody's concerned and sensitive about their children. We should be trying to live cordially and thinking about the other person. If we start getting real detailed and really get down to it and start figuring out, wait a minute. So he really doesn't have to do that. So if he doesn't do that, he's not like out of pocket. No. So if she don't do that, now we got a problem. Now we done made a whole big mess over something that was, in reality, it was extra. Somebody was doing it out of the kindness of their heart. Meaning if they didn't do it, they wouldn't be sinning Islamically. But that's why Sheikh said that you don't want to live life all wrapped up in all of the ahkam when you're dealing with your spouse. We deal with these things when it's needed. So if a woman already has children, then who's responsible to take care of those children? The father. So now your new husband takes care of the child. Is he obliged? Is it obligatory that he takes care of that child, or is it obligatory that he takes care of his wife? All right, that's the obligation. Most men don't go into a marriage, sisters. I don't know if the sisters know. Most men don't go into a marriage like, man, I'm gonna just take care of her. I ain't taking care of them kids. They there. They gonna do what they want to do. They there. Alhamdulillah, take care of them. Ain't no big deal. As long as they're able to do it. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes they come and they say, well, listen, if the man really doesn't want children in the house, because he might not, his kids might be grown, he might not want children. So he might say, well, Dag, are your kids going with your father? How that's gonna work? Are they going with their father? How that's gonna work? There's a discussion. Yeah. And at the end of the day, it's negotiation. Nobody's forced to marry nobody. If you got kids and the brother don't want kids, you don't have to marry him. If you have children, sister, and you marry a man, you get ready to marry a brother, and he wants your children to go live with their father. Why? Man, all my kids grown. I'm like, I'm trying to chill. Right? You don't have to marry him. It's not like you forced to marry him. You understand what I'm saying? and vice versa. Nobody's forced at that point. All of that is a negotiation process. If that, maybe that's not the right person for you, if they can't deal with your kids.
So is that something like when they sitting, can she like mention that or put that like in the contract? Like, look, you married me. Say the father not around. It's a package deal. My kids come with it. Like, can she like put that in the contract?
If she can say, listen, she can say whatever she want to say.
And it's up to you to-
You don't have to accept stuff. You understand? You sit down with a person, you're looking to marry the person in front of you. They can say whatever they want. You don't have to accept that. Nobody's forced to do anything. Once you agree to something, that's on you. That's on you. As long as it's not something that goes against Quran and Sunnah. You agree to something, you agree to that. You understand what I'm saying? You don't have to agree to that. The sister don't have to agree to that. The brother don't have to agree to that.
These classes like really important because a lot of times I think a lot of people going to sit down not knowing what they have rights in, what they don't have, then they end up getting married and it be turmoil.
No doubt. May Allah forgive us and make us better. But we need to understand the marriage process, the procedure itself is a negotiation process. It's a contract. It's called Aqd Nikah. It comes in the chapter in the books of Mu'amalat after buying and selling. Contract. It's a contract. You know what I'm saying? Somebody come to see you and say, listen, I want to rent this house out. He tell you $5,000. All right, I'll do it. You don't even like, you say $5,000. This ain't worth that. They paying such and such around the corner. I'll give you this. He says, no, I can't. It's a contract. The sister might come and say, listen, I need this. You don't have to accept that. A brother comes and says to you, sister, listen, if I marry this, you don't have to accept that. If you want to marry the person, then y'all need to go a little further and try to figure something out. And that's basically how it goes. طيب. He says, وتصح تفويض البضع بأن يزوج أب ابنتها المجبرة أو ولي غيرها بإذنها بلا مهر. طيب. This is a situation where the wali, the one who marries, we did this before. The example, who marries off the daughter, or who marries off the woman without her permission? The father. What type of woman does he marry off without her permission? That's the one I remember mentioning, but we did do that one too. But let's just use the Majnuna, right? The one who doesn't have their, what's the word? What's the word though? The politically correct word. They're intellectually disabled. Therefore, the father marries her off without her permission, right? What if he marries her off without her permission? Without what? It says without a mahar, without a dowry. What happens? He marries her off, they get married. Because remember, the dowry not being there at the marriage contract doesn't stop the marriage. They can go, marry, alhamdulillah, they married, all the witnesses there, alhamdulillah. But what? Huh? He still owes. The man still owes that. Even though they married and they didn't discuss it, they didn't name it, they delayed it, regardless, it's still owed. Clear? The father marries off his daughter that's intellectually disabled with no mahar. So now he says, she's able to get what? It says, كَعَلَى مَا شَاءَتْ. I don't know. I'm going to have to come back to this. يصح تفويض البوض بأن يزوج أب ابنته المجبرة أو ولي غيرها بإذنها بلا مهر كعلى ما شاءت أو شاء فلان. كعلى ما شاءت أو شاء فلان. من هو؟
هو الزوج. وعلى ما شاءت هي.
Yeah. We come back next week, inshallah. I gotta look. I ain't really do that issue that good. طيب. We come back to that. I got a check mark next to that, y'all. That's about the father marrying off the one who's intellectually disabled without a mahr. Yes.
So there's like a off the wall exception. What if the father marries the daughter off, but then she come to her, like she comes up, so she now like feel full conscious and understand what's going on. She's like, I don't want to be married now. If she didn't receive a dowry, does he still off? Does he still off?
That's not a majnuna. A person that's intellectually disabled is always like that.
That's
Yeah. Not like a person that fainted and then woke back up, or there was a.
They might be special and then they're not special. Or do they not?
I don't think that happens. I don't think that happens. If somebody's intellectually, they generally like that. That's just how they live life. That person, not the person who's in and out, because in and out, when they in, you need to talk to them and they're able to make their own decisions. That's one thing. طيب. It says ويجب لها بعقد مهر مثل ويستقر بدخول. It says it is obligatory to give her dowry or her mahr, her wedding gift at the aqd, right? ويستقر بدخول. I'm sorry. Ayo. It becomes obligatory. The wedding gift is obligatory when? At the aqd. Even if it's permissible to do what? Delay it. But it's obligatory. Once you marry a woman, it's obligatory. It don't just drop off. Okay? It doesn't drop off. He says, and once you consummate the marriage, it stays. It never leaves off. Pay attention. Consummation is important at this point, right? طيب. He says, وَإِن مَاتَ أَحْدُهُمَا قَبْلَ الدُّخُولِ وَفَرْضٍ وَرَثَتِ الْآخَرِ وَلَهَا مَهْرُ نِسَائِهَا كَأُمِّهَا وَعَمَّتِهَا وَخَالَتِهَا. طيب. And we're going to stop after this. It says, وَإِن مَاتَ أَحْدُهُمَا قَبْلَ الدُّخُولِ وَفَرْضٍ. Fardin is that is possible that the man has to be forced to give it a mahr. The man might have to be forced. We talking about in the courts. All right. A man doesn't want to pay the mahr. He might have to be forced by the hakim to pay, let's just say if it was $5,000, right? It's times when a man is forced to pay money. We don't live in a society, we don't have that situation in front of us. But if you're living in a situation in a Muslim country and you taking to court, they'll force you almost kind of like, not like, but almost like child support, right? You're forced. You're going to pay the money. Whether now, later, you're going to pay the money. طيب. It says, إن مات أحدهما قبل الدخول لها مهر نسائها كأمها وعمتها وخالتها. Oh, we'll stop there. Let's stop there because it's connected to the next portion. Next coming up is when is she deserving? It's connected to consummating the marriage. When does a woman deserve her full mahr? Let's just use the number 5,000. When does she deserve the whole 5,000? Or when does she deserve just 2,500? Let's rewind back. Once you marry the woman at the aqd, she, no doubt about it, is deserving of what? What is it? It could be late. Y'all could have spoke about it. Maybe y'all didn't. All the situations that we spoke about. Now, say after they married. Now, the next situation is this. This is the next situation. The next situation is, how does consummation of the marriage, intimate sex, how does sex with the wife and how does that work? How does that affect the dowry? Okay? Before he consummated and after he consummated. That plays a part in what the wife is deserving of, what she's entitled to. Clear? We do that next week, though, inshallah. Any questions? We start right here. Fadlan. Huh? Oh, yeah. Any questions?
Can a woman, I don't know if we went over this, but can a woman deny the dowry? Like, nah, I don't need it. I don't want nothing.
She doesn't need it?
Yeah, she make more money than me. She's like, nah, I don't need it. I don't want nothing.
Does the dowry test put? I don't think the dowry drops off ever. The dowry doesn't drop. Now, if she doesn't want, she can make it something small. If it's really like that, then she can make it something small. Because this gonna be the thing. Even if, right, it's not mentioned and what it is, she's still gonna be owed that. So what she need to do is just do the sunnah, as they say. Make it real, make it inexpensive, something like, I don't need it really like that, but it's part of our deen, it's part of the marriage contract. I don't know if it drops off just because she makes money.
Assalamu alaikum.
Hey, son.
What would a sister wants to know, what would you call a light dowry?
Depends on the people. Let me ask the sisters this. What do the sisters usually get for dowries here in Philly? Sisters, it's a question for y'all. How much cash? How much? Generally, what's I don't want to say the going rate, but I'm just saying, generally, how much? Between what and what? What? Between 3,000 and 6,000? What? No. I didn't say that. I say that as an example. No. That's an example. I don't know what the sister's getting for a dowry these days. It could change. You know what I'm saying? It could change over 10 years, 5 years. It could be changing. Right now, what's normal, right? And this is another point that he didn't mention, that they said the sunnah is to do what? For the dowry to make it what? They said, but if she wants, she can zad. She can increase it if that's what she wants to do. So let's just say the going rate was normal in the area. Her family, it was $2,000. You come in front of her, she say, I want 6. Right? Can she do that? She can do that. You might be built like that to pay the 6. You might not be. And if you're not, then maybe she don't want to marry somebody like you. It's fine. And no hard feelings. You know what I'm saying? It might be hard feelings, but it is what it is. It is what it is, though. Why? Because if that's what she requests, you don't have to accept it. You know what I'm saying? It ain't like, because if the norm was 2,000, let's say that was high, it's nothing to say she can't go over that. Nothing to say that she can't ask for $4,000. Now, since you ask for $4,000, you got to understand, as men, the man gonna look and say, wait a minute, what am I getting for 4,000? Because the man is going to judge. He's going to say, wait a minute, I'll pay 4,000 as a dowry if I see her to be worth that. If she's not worth that, then he's not going. I'm gonna just say he's not going to agree to that. To the person you're talking to. Everything is about the individual in front of you. She might feel she is worth that, but you're not marrying yourself. You marrying somebody, whoever's sitting in front of you. The person sitting in front of you might not think that it's worth it. Cool, y'all don't have to get married. There's no pressure.
Another question. If a sister asks for a dowry, she wants to make umrah. When should the brother pay for the trip? Like, how would she go about that?
That's something they agree on. When is the umrah trip? We going in March. Inshallah, March the 4th to the 13th. Yeah, for real. No, for real. We're going in March, inshallah, March 4th to the 13th. So they might sit down and she might say, I want an umrah trip. We say, well, they're going in March. She might say, well, who's going in March? They're going to IMSC. Man, I don't bang with them like that. Oh, well, you got to go find another umrah trip. It don't necessarily mean it got to be this one, right? But she wants an umrah trip. Now, when? That's all on them. They make an umrah this year, next year, like that's on them. That's an agreement that they come to. Because she wants umrah and he's going to pay for her umrah trip, it might not be this year. He might stipulate for next year. They can do that. And if that's the case, then he just gives them a payment. As long as it's paid for her to make the umrah, that's not really a big deal like that.
But if she wanted it this year, like, is he obliged to, like,
if she says to you, it's December 24th, the umrah trip here is March 4th. You get ready to marry, sister and the brother get ready to get married. She says, I want to make the umrah trip with IMFC on March 4th. What does the man have the option to say? Yes or no? It's that simple. Or he could offer something else. He might say, y'all, that's too soon. I'm not gonna be able to do that. You want to wait until the following year they make it, or you want to try to go in the summer? It's negotiation. She might be like, no, I'm trying to go now. Well, listen, right? It's a couple things she could do. They could do a couple things. He could owe her money back. This we don't want to do, y'all. You don't want to start cutting off good potential husbands and wives based on things that's really dunya. We don't want to start doing that. He can't pay for an Umrah trip. He got all the qualities in the world, but he can't pay for an Umrah trip for you in 3 months, so you're not going to marry him. But other than that, his rep is good through the roof. Everything is a go. Because he don't have the money to go for an Umrah trip, like, and for real, like we do. I really just met you like a month and a half ago, 40 days, right? But it might be a good potential spouse, though. You don't want to start cutting people off and cutting off potentially good spouses based on things that could be like, we could really get around that. There's ways to get around that and still be happily married.
Sound another question the sister asked, as far as accepting books for a dowry, is that good or no?
Is it good? Is it good? I don't know what you mean by good. Is it permissible?
Like the sister just says, I want Sahih Bukhari.
That's what she on. That's, takhfif. She made it light. If that's what she wanted to do. Right? She don't have to. The brother can't. If a brother come and tell her brother might come in and say, listen, I'm giving you Sahih Bukhari for a dowry. Does she have to accept that? No, they're not married. And if she comes and say that's what she wants, I don't know what she mean by is that good though, honestly. Yeah, you could sell it, you could rent it. That's what you want.
When you say negotiable, the woman has to negotiate with the man, or is it the wali job? Somebody asking online.
Does the woman has to negotiate?
He's saying is the wali negotiating with the potential husband, or is the woman the potential husband negotiate?
I mean, I'm sure. I don't know. I'm just seriously. I'm sure the woman and the man are talking about marriage. Like, why when it comes to the dowry, the wali gonna step in and start having the I don't understand why that would even.
No, that makes sense though.
Why?
Because let's just say, for instance, I feel as though, let's say it's my daughter, and I feel like he trying to lowball her. I'm gonna give you 500. If she in love with him, she's like, yeah, I take 500. Like, nah, she need 5,000. You got a room. Like, I'm saying, because the reality of it, that's how I feel as my daughter. The reality of it is that you, like, all right, let's say, for instance, this your family, and you know how she's living, right? You know what you provide for your daughter or your niece or whoever, right? And that's somebody trying to marry her, and she young. She might think, hey, this could be good. And you a man like, this not good. If he can't do X, Y, and Z, then, because everything character is not real life.
We talking about the dowry only. Only we talking about the dowry. No, it's not the same. It's not the same. Maintaining a family and a woman is one thing. A wedding gift is they separate. They're not the same.
But it depends on where she at. You just said socially. If socially she's here.
Socially, she's at the $5,000 mark.
But she might need that every month.
We're talking about a dowry. It's a one-time wedding gift. Socially, her standing is a $5,000. That's what she's deserving of. Cool. She wants to marry a brother, and she does what? Takhfif. She lowers the thing, which is they say is what? I'm not talking about your daughter personal. I'm just saying. No. One step at a time. In reality, she did what? She did what was recommended to lower it, right? Cool. Because in reality, the brother that she looking at fits everything that she looking for in a husband. Except she don't have $5,000. Because you ain't marrying her. Technically, you're not marrying her. You're marrying her off.
But she don't know what's best for her.
Cool. Listen. Technically, she's in the class of a $5,000. She's deserving of, right? She does what they say is to lower it, and she says, you know what? She says something. Let's say 1,000 or 500. Islamically, is that okay? Islamically, huh? Islamically, is that okay? Islamically, it's fine. Add on top of that, the brother that she's talking to is in her eyes, is a go. It's a green light, right? That's now you talking about. If you talking about other things outside of the dowry, that's something different. If you just want to say she's worth more than that,
No, what I'm saying is that you're her guardian. She never been married before. Even she been married before, but this is what the status is, right?
yes.
I'm not saying Nick's the brother because he don't got X, Y, and Z money. But let's be honest, there's certain women out here that you're gonna marry. All that cutesy foodsie stuff gonna be gone in like 3 months.
Okay.
Now she like that. I'm used to getting, X, Y, and Z every month, but he like, no, all I got is rice.
But we're not talking about that. No. But listen, you mixing apples and oranges. We only talking about the one-time wedding gift. We're not talking about him being able to maintain her over a period of time.
Why he brought that up is because he's saying that he's like, should the Wali be negotiated? As far as maybe y'all in love right now, but this is what's really going to be happening.
He said,
You know what I'm trying to say?
negotiating the dowry.
No, just communication.
Negotiating the dowry.
Negotiating the dowry.
It's
Not
not
the payments.
All right.
Because as a
So-
woman, you should have went over that checklist already.
Listen, what I'm saying, it's your daughter. You dealing with her. You tell her what I'm sure you talking to your daughter. You know it got to be 5,000 and up. You know that, right? Yeah, she knows all that. Cool. She turned around and says, "Well, I'll just take this for 1,000."
All right.
Right? That's what she turned around and tells you. She tells you that. You the father, right? You do what to your daughter? What you tell your daughter?
Go to her room.
All right, cool. Cool. All that's fine. All that's fine. All I'm saying is that's a conversation between you and your daughter. Right? What I'm saying is, because the question was about, did the Wali negotiate the dowry? I'm saying that if the sister been already talking to the brother, they're not talking about a dowry, because it ain't like because she's negotiating a dowry that the Wali is not going to know what's going on. The Wali is always involved. You know what I'm saying? The Wali is always going to be involved regardless. So let's just say he talking to her to the pop low. You lowball. No, we spoke about 5. How you get it down to a stack?
Exactly.
Cool. Now you got to talk to your daughter. Listen, what's going on?
That's what they gonna say.
What does that mean? That's a conversation between you and your daughter. Because it might get to the point where what? You become the bad guy.
That's cool.
Might not be.
I hope not.
Inshallah, it's
A
not.
couple more years.
I know, man. Allah understand. Allah make it easy. Yes.
I think as well, when they say it's sunnah, they ask for something like, because fathers and men in general forget, if she want to leave that man, she has to give whatever she asks for him back. And if you asking for, say you want 10, 12,000 for it, and you want to leave and you ain't got that to give to him, and he ain't really do nothing unjustly to you, he can not hold you captive, but I need my dowry for you to go. So you might negotiate 10,000 for your daughter,
She better stay married then, right?
I only brought that up because
Yeah, no doubt. It's gonna come back. However much it is, it's gonna come back up. That's what you're saying.
I only brought that up because sometimes young people don't look at the longevity of marriage. Y'all ain't getting married for 3 months. Y'all ain't kids. In 2 years, like my daughter probably gonna be like this, like that, and maybe he's just not there. So you gotta bring that into, because it's gonna happen anyway. Your wife gonna wrap your ear up about you ain't got enough this anyway. So it's but that's all I'm saying.
But we gotta go back. When you say that's a different conversation now.
Kinda.
We talking about they get married. We say, let's say 5. She's satisfied with $1,000 wedding gift. And in reality, she's deserving of 5, right? You look at the brother, he might have it to give 5.
So it's really not up to me.
I'm just saying, he might have it to give 5. That's not what she want. It's her gift. It's her wedding gift.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? She might want something that's 10 grand. She might want something that's 6. I'm just saying it's her wedding gift that she's requesting.
I got you.
Sometimes, man.
You appreciate something more when you got paid for it.
Well, dig it. Sometimes if the woman is requesting the gift, it's about what her heart is tied to at that point. So she might want whatever she wants. And the fact that he bought her that means more than what you talking about or what I'm talking about as a father. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking at that nickel because that's my daughter. That's my first baby. And I ain't really with all the nonsense. But she wants Sahih Bukhari. I'm just saying she want what she want. You understand what I'm saying? She wants what she wants. It's more. It might be emotional tie to what she want over the $5 grand. It's difficult, John. I'm talking, y'all, but I gotta do it. It's rough. I'm not saying I got. You know what I'm saying? It's John hard, but Allah Mustaan. We don't own them, right? We don't own them. We take the what? Oh yeah, that's. I don't even want to say that. I don't even want to. I can't. We talking about that later.
Isn't it their agreement?
Cool.
Whether the wali agrees to it or not? No. And it's not the agreement between the husband and the wife. So
what you mean?
So the wali is not in agreement with whatever the dowry is, but the wife is and the husband. They got an agreement. So because the wali not cool with it, then
What we talking about? A woman that's young.
Ho.
You understand what I'm saying? Because you just said that it's an acceptance. Okay, the wife requests, this is what I want. Okay, the husband said, I got that. Cool. We got an agreement.
Right.
The wali's not happy. Right? So would that nullify a situation?
What do you mean nullify a situation?
Okay, so well, yes, exactly. Because if they make an agreement, okay, tell you, but they make an agreement, we cool, but he not cool.
The brother, the sister, and the to-be husband agree on. Let's just use the number. They agree on 1,000, and in reality, she's in the 5,000 category, right? Cool. The wali like, no, I ain't with it. Sister is comfortable with it. So now the wali refuses to marry her off to him because he won't pay $5,000 mahar dowry, and she's okay with the $1,000 dowry. Yeah.
They're gonna take his wife from him. They're gonna remove the father or don't have the order.
If you go into a court, an Islamic court, they might remove your guardianship from your own daughter.
To the grandfather?
It could be to somebody other than the man who's what the wali is not allowed to do is prevent the woman from getting married unjustly. You know what I'm saying? So it could be the father, it can move to the grandfather, it can move to a brother. It could. What if she don't have nobody? The hakim might marry her off.
I suggest y'all do this.
Yeah. She might be cool with. I'm just saying. Say she been looking. Let's just say for real. Say she been looking at something and she wants they women. She wants a man to buy this. She wants her future husband to buy this for her. It's not worth $5,000. You know what I'm saying? But she wants that. That's what she wants. And she wants her first husband to buy it for her. That's what she's comfortable with. You know what I'm saying? We come and be like, man, no, nah. You know what I'm saying? We, as fathers, you come, but that's what she want. You gonna prevent her from getting married? That's gonna be a situation, man. No, yeah. Not today.
The man still owes the dowry. If he delays it and the woman asks for a hold up.
Yeah.
If the man, hold up, say it again. Does the man still owe the dowry? He delays it.
He delays the dowry. It hasn't been paid.
Okay.
And she asks for a hold up.
It depends. It all depends. We do that next week. It all depends. It all depends on what? Consummation. Is it a couple of dukhul or after dukhul? He didn't say that. That's not what they said, Sheikh. I don't know what they meant. I don't know what they meant. Read the question again now.
The man still owes the dowry. If he delays it and he grants a kula before it was paid.
It all depends.
Were they married?
I don't know.
How you grant a khula if they ain't married?
They were married.
طيب.
شوف يا أخي إذا كان الشخص عند الحنابلة إذا زوج الرجل امرأة ودخل بها ولو لم.
He didn't say دخل بها.
ولو لم.
طيب.
Even if there was in a ghurfa.
طيب. He didn't say none of that though.
Listen what I'm telling you.
We didn't get no. Listen. We didn't get there, and he didn't say none of that. But go ahead. Go ahead. I ain't got no answer for it. It all depends. All the stuff you're saying. I know, because we ain't get there yet. When it come, we can deal with it. That's all I got to follow.
What's the question?
No, Khalas, man. You crazy.
I already asked the question.
I'm gonna read it loud now so the sisters can hear it too. I'm gonna read it loud again so the sisters can hear it.
Wait,
No, go ahead. I'm gonna.
you got it?
Yeah.
All right, hold on. I'm scrolling to something else. Does the man still hold the
Crazy.
dowry?
Uh-huh.
He delays it and then grants a khula before it was paid.
Does a man still owe the dowry if the dowry was delayed, and then he ended up giving the sister a khula before he paid the dowry? That's the question. Everybody clear? They get married. They delay the dowry, let's say 6 months or next week, whatever the case may be. Before he pays her the dowry, right? She requests a khula. And the question is, does he still owe the dowry? I say it depends. Hold on.
I say yes.
Yes, good. Sheikh says it drops off. That he doesn't owe it.
This thing I say, that's what the root of that saying.
I'm sorry.
That's the mas'ala.
The mas'ala depends.
Why do we drop off?
That's the question. Why does it drop off?
Because if they were married and he paid her the dowry and she wanted a khula, she would have to pay the dowry back. You understand? So in that case, yasqut, saqata. Now you're saying it depends on what?
She wants a khula, right?
Mm-hmm.
They get married. They delay the dowry.
Before,
So you saying, hold on.
said before it was paid, he asked for.
Yeah, they delayed it.
Yeah.
They was intimate, right? He owes her the dowry.
No.
So whether she asked for khula or not.
نعم لكن لما طلبت خلع منه خلاص سقط. ليش؟ لأن إذا دفع.
So she don't get none of the dowry. طيب نبحث.
بحثنا يا شيخ.
بس نبحث أنا. أبحث. I'll deal with that inshallah next week. Allah alam. We'll stop there inshallah. وصلى الله وسلم وبارك نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم.